This is my audience. You got Gavin, you got Bill, you got Max. The guitar is one of the most culturally significant instruments ever created. As a player myself, I find its history particularly interesting. What type of music do you listen to? Rock, metal, country? Whatever the genre may be, chances are it's been influenced by guitar. The purpose of my speech is to explain the history and cultural significance of this fascinating, versatile instrument. The guitar is an important piece in music history, and its impact on modern culture cannot be understated. First, I'll explain the history of its stringed predecessors, their evolution into the modern guitar, then the electric guitar and its cultural impact. According to Britannica, a respected encyclopedia publisher, the lute was probably brought to Spain by returning crusaders in the 13th century from the Arab world. As they returned, they brought back musical instruments and cultural items from the Arab world, brought them back to Europe, which then influenced the culture of Europe. Brandon Acker, classical guitarist and specialist in early plucked instruments, says the lute was very popular due to its ability to be played by one person with simple melodies that could be easily sung over, as it was played at approximately singing volume. So it was a very popular instrument for courtiers to play. If you remember the king's court as royal entertainment, oftentimes it would even be used to put the king to sleep. You could be employed as a musician in that way. This led to the guitar's enormous popularity. Stringed instruments kind of took off from the development of the lute. Acker later showcases a Renaissance guitar, mentioning that this was the first time the word guitar was used, and is technically the first true guitar, as it had 4 strings and could have chords played on it. He also mentions that this guitar was easy to strum, which changed the type of music played on these strung instruments from simple melodies, single note melodies, to full chord music, which added a new layer of texture and vibrancy to the music. The next predecessor to the guitar would be the 19th century guitar. That's what it's referred to as. This was the first modern, truly modern guitar. It had 6 metal strings, which gave it a brighter sound, more durable strings, and by having metal strings, they had to be plucked with like a pick or a plectrum. And it also had equal temperament, which is kind of an antiquated term. You can think of it kind of as modern day keys. These predecessors to this Renaissance or to this 19th century guitar, they were all strung in different temperaments. They had different tunings, different spacings on the frets, which if you were to play with another musician and his temperament was different, you could not harmonize. Many amateur musicians. Now that we have an understanding of the early inspirations of the guitar, we can address the men who refined the form of the instrument. The modern guitar was really taken into form by Antonio de Torres. He was a Spanish luthier, and he used new construction methods like fan bracing, which led to a louder and stronger instrument. Christian Frederick Martin of Martin Guitar, he was a German immigrant. He introduced steel-strung flat-top guitars with X bracing. He also introduced machine steel tuners, which are used on virtually every stringed instrument today. Orville Gibson, another luthier, another immigrant, he introduced the archtop guitar, which was stronger and louder than its flat-top counterparts. And this instrument worked exceptionally well in big band settings with other loud instruments, which may overshadow the guitar. And although Gibson's instrument was louder than its counterparts, players still needed more volume. Enter the electric age. Leo Fender was a radio technician. He did not invent the electric guitar, but he was the first to mass produce it. Think of him like the Henry Ford of the electric guitar. Les Paul, a jazz musician, he worked with Gibson to develop the Les Paul model guitar, the one which bears his name, as a prime competitor to the Fender Telecaster that was produced. These were the first mass-produced electric guitars and really revolutionized music. And with these electric guitars, they introduced distortion. They enabled distortion to be introduced into the music, which led to Link Wray in 1958, composing a song called Rumble, which was actually banned from the radio according to a 2018 article on OpenCulture.com. The song was banned from radio for being too sinister due to its distortion, although it had no vocals. Later, the fuzz pedal was introduced, used on the song Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones, and became extremely popular. And this revolutionized rock and roll music. EVH, in the 80s, fast forward about a decade and a half, he pushes the boundary of the instrument with two-handed tapping, dive bombs, and other techniques. Monica Smith for the Smithsonian says that he still influences players today because he made the guitar sound raucous, flashy, and dirty, just as its listeners wanted. Guitar lead to the instrument that we have today. The modern guitar construction is very important to the current form of the instrument. Electric guitar and its cultural impact have also had a very pronounced effect on our society today and popular culture. You think of this, what is your favorite genre of music? Knowing this, you can probably tie it back to the guitar in some way. The significance on guitar and music is absolutely incredible, and that's why I wish to share this information with you. So where will further developments take the guitar? It's hard to say, but the instrument is surely one I encourage everyone to play. Thank you.